Underway. I'm Bryan Moore, and this is Focus NNS. We're on the flight deck of Gerald R. Ford's CVN 78 high above the Atlantic Ocean as the Ford is underway under her own power for the very first time. We'll take you out to sea for builder sea trials. Plus, we'll show you life aboard the ship during trials and talk to shipbuilders about what it takes to put the Ford to the test. And we'll take you on a day-by-day journey as the most technologically advanced aircraft carrier ever built shows her capabilities. But first on deck, heading out to sea for the very first time. It's a proud moment for shipbuilders and the crew that mans her. The Gerald R. Ford left Newport News Shipbuilding April 8th about 4 p.m. down the James River, through the Chesapeake Bay, and out to sea where she met the Atlantic Ocean for the very first time.
It's great. It was a lot of work we put, the team that I'm a part of, we put in a lot of long days, and it's just nice to be part of this and be able to take it out to sea.
There's a great feeling of accomplishment here for me because I feel like I've been through the life cycle. It was a part of the product model when I started in, so it was almost like an idea. We were looking at it on a computer screen, bringing the piece parts together, and now here it is, when we have just about a finished product and it's moving in the water.
That's the great part about working at the shipyard. Everybody's coming from different places, everybody's come from different backgrounds and are just able to work together and get the job done. So I'm just proud to be a part of the shipbuilding team.
Lots of proud shipbuilders aboard the Gerald R. Ford, but of course the real reason for all of this, testing of the ship's systems and components.
Okay, let's go and walk through the package. First sheet is status of events. We'll talk some statistics and what we completed and where we're headed.
Jim O'Brien briefs shipbuilders and the Navy twice a day during trials with status updates detailing the challenges and the accomplishments as the tests are conducted.
Running this trial through its paces, being first in class, not having done this because the Nimitz was so long ago, was an exciting challenge because there was issues that came up on this trial that I've never seen. It's things that you can't make up, but they happen on this trial because of the unique issues we had with the new design and new capabilities of this.
Incidentally, this is Jim O'Brien's 100th sea trial, a huge milestone in his career and life as a shipbuilder.
When I first started, I just wanted to do 50. That was my goal, and now to be able to start passing on some of my knowledge to others that I've been doing recently, I think it's going to help the shipyard for the future to always be able to have sea trials directors that can lead the team as we go out.
Congratulations, Jim. Well, one important test during sea trials is that of the anchor. We're here where the anchor is housed aboard Ford, and we will see and hear a lot more about the anchor tests when Aaron Pritchett takes us on a day-by-day run-through of all the sea trial tests. That story is coming up a little bit later, but first, let's take a look at some other news from around the Ford. Getting all the shipbuilders safely aboard with housing, office space, and meal service is not an easy task. Just ask Tony Bowden, the shipyard's head purser for this sea trial. He and his team of shipbuilders coordinated the logistics for all the shipbuilders, supervisor of shipbuilding, and vendors aboard.
This has taken over a year of planning and preparation, overall team effort, many hours of preparation. So it's not like an office building. This is an aircraft carrier. It's the logistics of the teams meeting in the various spaces. It's the berthing spaces that you have to have for each of the riders. It's the messing locations that you have to provide for each of the riders. it's the transportation, making sure that all of their things at home are taken care of while they're away at sea.
It's not all work when aboard for sea trials. There's some time for recreation and relaxation. Some shipbuilders bring video games from home to play. Or the ship provides a movie channel with classic movies and newer titles such as the remake of Ghostbusters. Others take a unique opportunity for a walk along flight deck.
It's not every day you get to walk on top of an aircraft carrier. Oh yeah, it's great to come up here and walk around because down below you get a lot of stuffy air inside the ship. So coming up here, getting fresh air, getting to see the scenery, doesn't feel like it's moving. You got a lot of blue ocean around you. It's pleasant with the wind in the evening, salt air, just beautiful.
And of course, there's also 3 square meals a day and a midnight food service called mid-rats or midnight rations for those working those late night shifts. And there were a lot of late nights and a lot of very long days, as every minute and every hour is test time. They've just wrapped up the AFFF fire suppression testing here in Hangar Bay. You're going to learn a lot more about that test and about all the tests as Aaron Pritchett with our communications division takes us on a step-by-step, day-by-day journey of the events better known as sea trials.
It's been more than a decade from initial concept to now, and Gerald R. Ford is finally cutting through the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean for the very first time. A truly remarkable and historical moment. But don't be deceived, this is definitely not a pleasure cruise, because over the last several days, 3,000 people consisting of the Navy, vendors, and our very own Newport News shipbuilders have been working non-stop around the clock, putting the most powerful ship in the world to the ultimate test. And we've been along for the ride to help document and give you a day-by-day account of everything that's been involved in the intense builder sea trials aboard CVN 78.
Sea trials are important for us since I've been on the boat since 2009 to see every little piece that we installed then lead up to what their final mission is. Since we can't just hand them keys with a done carrier, we have to do this in increments and steps. So to tie it all together, to put it out here and make it all work together has its challenges, and that's why we're here. And we'll go again for acceptance trials, but to get through builders trials and be able to say we've done everything this ship should see in the next 50 years and kind of pack that into 5 days. It's exciting, it's challenging, but we're going to get through it.
It's building an entire, almost a city, and then making that city move. There's a lot of moving parts to this trial, especially with everything kind of coming together at once. So the real hub, this center is really the platform, hull mechanical electrical center where we coordinate all the tests and demonstrations for that area. When you really look at it, to think about what you're doing and seeing this 100,000 ton piece of metal moving through the water now and trying to make sure that all the systems work and work like they're supposed to, it's very challenging and to be quite honest, very tiring at times.
We were testing the emergency steering for CVN 78. What will happen is, if at sea we lose main steering, 2 sailors will take control, one on starboard, one on port, and they'll control the ship via the trick wheel. So this is a backup to that if for some reason the rudders can't respond to anything else.
From the moment we get on, we know we have a set window to get all of our testing done. PAL stands for Precision Aircraft Landing. PAL test, it's one of those systems where you have to be at sea because you need the flights coming in. PALs are used to land the aircraft, and that's basically what you want, making sure that the 2 different systems are tracking the planes and able to do what they're designed to do. PALs is just a portion of all the testing that we had to get done. And anything goes wrong, we have to fix it on the spot and then do a retest of those systems to ensure that they are tested and certified.
Aqueous film forming foam. Basically all it does is it creates a layer of bubbles that prevents oxygen from getting to the fire, and it's also a surfactant which helps break the water tension of the liquid. It saves people, it saves equipment, it saves the ship, prevents further damage. I mean, you want to keep this thing floating when you're at sea. The flight deck, they do the same thing as the hangar bay, but it's up on the flight deck. It sprays up, creates a layer of foam, and covers the fuel. Well, I mean, this is what we live for. I mean, this is like seeing the system in operation. I mean, this is like the end result, and make sure that it works correctly before we turn it over to the Navy.
You see people do things every day, putting their pride into the work and then presenting it to the customer. They see it, the customer sees it. They like, you know, getting a ship that people really put their pride into. And it's reflective of everything when you look at the, you know, each part of the ship. What we've done lately here is test it and really exercise every aspect of it. And that's what, you know, part of our job, but also part of what we want to do to make sure the customer gets the ship they need.
So during the high-speed turns, we went up to max speed that the propulsion plant could take you to, and did full swings of the rudder, all the way to its maximum limit to the port side, and then all the way to the maximum limit to the starboard side.
And the ship starts to turn, so it turns the rudder. And we saw down there the rudder, the ram room, the rams push the rudder over, and then it takes just a little while, and then the ship starts to turn. And all the weight of that water and the ship pushing against that rudder is all being tested here at sea, and gets that ship in that high-speed turn that really lays us over. And it's neat to stand on hangar bay leaned over that far.
Important to have that emergency backup to be able to anchor somewhere so that you're not going to drift into something and run aground. The new anchor system has electronic capabilities, a new design, it has a new braking system. So that system was fully tested, and we're confident that you could do a slow release of the anchor, or if you had to do it in an emergency, a faster release. We tested the fast release and catch capabilities of the anchor. So that was a very successful test.
The first ship of a class is always going to be challenging, you know, and the more sophisticated, the higher tech technologies have proven to be hard. We've certainly shown we're up to the challenge, and we're fighting our way through it. Going to cause us to stay out to sea a couple more days, but you know, I started on this project in '99, so I wouldn't have missed it for the world. So you know, it's something to see. It had gone from, you know, the early days of concept and planning and 3D product model and first cuts of steel and keel laying events to, you know, today you see what it looks like, and you know, it's pretty amazing. It really is.
Although sea trials has been intense, exhausting, and quite challenging, the greatest reward has been seeing our shipbuilders rise to the occasion to help meet the demands of getting this ship out into open waters and have her perform like she was built and intended to do for the fine men and women that serve aboard her. For Focus NNS, I'm Aaron Pritchett. Back to you, Brian.
All right, thanks a lot, Aaron. Great job. We will, of course, continue to follow the Ford right on through to commissioning, which is scheduled for later this summer. Well, that's going to do it for this very special edition of Focus NNS here aboard the Ford. Make sure you check out all the latest news from Newport News Shipbuilding in our weekly publication Currents, and by downloading our app, NNS To Go. Plus, check out all the latest news on our social media pages and on Cox Cable Channel 1886. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Bryan Moore.